Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Andrew Fazeka's Night Sky Guy here as your host for another Global Astronomy Month live stream. Thanks so much for joining. We love to see folks from everywhere around the world joining us in celebrating, of course, the night sky as we've been doing now. And this is, I can't believe it's like the 17th annual edition of Global Astronomy Month. And we're really excited. We can see all of you guys celebrating around the world, mentioning Global Astronomy Month, and having fun with different kind of presentations, stargazing tours, webinars, workshops, all kinds of things happening. And we love to see that. So keep on sharing it, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever social channel you're using. Just keep on sharing it. We'd love to see. Of course, our motto is one people, one sky. So it does mean a lot. And I can't believe we're almost halfway through the month of GAM again. We've had a lot of really nice guests and events happening and a lot more to come. And today's really special too. Of course, we are continuing our webinar series, and we've just started a very special week, something that we have been touting for so many years is International Dark Sky Week, that is being hosted, of course, by DarkSky International, our partner for many, many years, friends of ours, and we share the belief that, the night sky is our common heritage of people everywhere, of all walks of life, everywhere around the world. This is something that we share in the legacy of the night sky and protecting it. And that's what Dark Sky International is all about, is protecting it. And today we do have a very special guest with us. It is Drew Regan, who is the Senior Communications Manager at Dark Sky International. He leads communication efforts to raise awareness and advance solutions to light pollution. And before joining Dark Sky more than 2 years ago, Drew spent over a decade as an interpretive ranger with the National Park Service, including at the Grand Canyon National Park and the Mesa Verde National Park. Those are just some wonderful sites. I am so envious, Drew. And at Mesa Verde, get this, Drew helped lead the park certification as the 100th International Dark Sky Park, designed a mobile visitor center, a dark sky laboratory, and supported the creation of the park's first Indigenous Ranger internship program. That's really innovative. Drew holds a BA in anthropology from the University of California, Berkeley, and has a background in environmental education, community management, and visual communication. Welcome, Drew.
Yeah, thank you very much. I guess with that great introduction, thank you so much, Andrew. I'll get started.
Absolutely. Yeah, the stage is
All
yours.
right. All right. And just checking, is everyone or Andrew, are you able to see my slides?
Yes. Yeah, you're up
All
there.
right. Great. Well, first off, I want to thank this organization, Astronomers Without Borders, for having me today. As Andrew mentioned, it is the start of International Dark Sky Week, and this is my favorite week of the year because it is all about exploring the night together. So International Dark Sky Week, it's one of our signature events. It's Dark Sky International. We don't own International Dark Sky Week. It definitely exists outside of our organization, but I'd say that our organization is one of the main organizations that really supports it and promotes it. And we hold a lot of fun events. And we encourage our community of supporters, International Dark Sky Places, our chapters, we encourage them all to hold events during this week. And if you go to the International Dark Sky Week website, which is idsw.darksky.org, there's actually a map of all the activities that are happening worldwide this week. And there are over 220 events worldwide happening. So our community really enjoys this week. It's a great time to build awareness. So I really appreciate that you're having me today. What I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you about Dark Sky International. And I know that many of you probably already know a lot about our organization. We're overlapping communities. Some of you might be members of Dark Sky International. You're well aware about well aware of light pollution and advocacy efforts. So what I want to do is I want to use this as an opportunity to maybe dive a little bit deeper, to provide some updates about what Dark Sky International is up to, some of our new initiatives, and really talk about how we're trying to drive as much impact into the future as possible. So for those of you, like I said, I think many of you are familiar with DarkSky International, but if you're not, let's start with some of the basics. I'd like to provide just kind of a quick history of DarkSky International, and we'll make this quick. DarkSky International got its start in 1988. At least that's when we became a formal, recognized nonprofit. But DarkSky was not created in a vacuum. There were already efforts, especially in the astronomy community, there were already efforts to reduce light pollution. One of those early efforts goes back to 1958 when Flagstaff adopted one of the first lighting ordinances to protect their dark skies. And in 1972, Tucson passed one of the world's first comprehensive ordinances as well to address light pollution. Now, note both of these are in Arizona, and Arizona has a large astronomy community. There's a lot of observatories here. So again, dark sky wasn't created in a vacuum. This idea of preserving the night sky from light pollution was already in the works. But in 1988, Tim Hunter, who was a doctor and amateur astronomer, teamed up with David Crawford, who was an astronomer at Peak Observatory. They came together and they created this new nonprofit. And their goal, they really wanted to raise awareness about light pollution, and they wanted it to become a household concept. They wanted people to understand light pollution and hold it up just as other people understand other forms of pollution. And I have to say, they were incredibly effective. The organization quickly grew, and through the 90s, we saw partnerships with lighting manufacturers. We saw it start to grow into truly an international organization. In the 2000s, the programs of the organization really started to build. In 2001, there was the lighting ordinance, which encouraged communities to adopt lighting codes and statutes. And in 2001, that was also the beginning of the International Dark Sky Places program, with Flagstaff, Arizona becoming the first international dark sky place. Now, another big leap, I would say, came in 2020. In 2020, Dark Sky, the board, adopted the 5 principles of outdoor lighting. If you're not familiar with the principles of responsible outdoor lighting, I'll go over them in just a minute. But this was really groundbreaking for the organization. And once those were published, we started to reorganize. We started to center all of our programs and initiatives around these 5 principles. So let's take a look at these 5 principles. So you're probably familiar with these. The 5 principles are simple, studied, and proven to work solutions that anyone can implement at any level to reduce light pollution. Now, when I mean at any level, I really mean at any level. I could go out to my front porch, and if my light is glaringly bad, I can pull out the 5 principles and I can work through them, and that's going to help me improve just the light right here in front of my house. But we can also take these principles. Is that light useful? Is it targeted, low level, controlled, warm colored? We can take these 5 principles and we can apply them to a much larger scale. So these have now become the backbone to all of our programs, from the International Dark Sky Places program that certifies parks and reserves to lighting infrastructure projects, again, at any scale. Now, each program will have a different set of criteria, but they're always going to be rooted back in these 5 principles. So from a communication standpoint, I would say that there are 3 primary focuses of our organization currently. We have light pollution awareness. We have quality lighting programs, and then we have lighting policy and codes. So these 3 focuses, they're all interconnected. And I want to talk about how they're interconnected and how they support one another, and how that we can use these 3 focuses to really drive greater impact. So I'm going to talk about each one of these focuses, and I'm going to use it as a launching point to talk about what Dark Sky is currently doing, and then to, again, build that larger framework of how we're using these focuses to drive global impact. So let's start with light pollution awareness. It's something that Dark Sky is really known for. So really driving awareness is our community of supporters. Dark Sky would be nothing without our community. Now we have over 35,000 members and supporters who we reach through newsletters, advocacy campaigns, and dark sky events like International Dark Sky Week. So we have our members and supporters, but then we also have our advocates and our delegates. Now, these are our volunteers. This is a group of committed individuals who are really driving impact using dark sky resources and programs to drive real change, turning that awareness into action. And so we support the advocate community by supplying outreach materials. We hold weekly webinars, or sorry, not weekly, monthly webinars. And we share resources and we provide event support. We then have our global chapters. So we have a large growing network of global chapters around the world that are organizing, and we provide support for them. And if they're not their own separate nonprofit, we actually put them under our 501c3 umbrella. So we support a global network of chapters as well. So as I mentioned, one way we support our community is by providing outreach materials and publications. We have a number of really great brochures, a number of great infographic cards, and they've now been translated into over 24 languages. You can find those resources and request those resources on our website, darksky.org. We also have Nightscape magazine, which is an incredible publication. Now, if you don't receive Nightscape, I highly suggest it. It is considered a member benefit. It's $35 a year to become a member and to receive Nightscape. It truly is incredible. It's a magazine that's dedicated to exploring the wonders and importance of the night. But it also provides program updates. So it's a great way to stay up to date with what DarkSky International is doing. We also provide technical papers for our community in order to provide more support. And that includes the State of the Science Report, which is kind of a yearly publication we create that takes all of the science around light pollution. It puts it together into a understandable format, and that comes out every June. So that's coming up, but stay tuned for that. That's a great resource. And also when it comes to building light pollution awareness, we have our 3 signature events. International Dark Sky Week, which is happening right now. And it's always timed to be in April around the new moon, so it overlaps with Global Astronomy Month. And again, it's just a worldwide celebration of the night. Then we also have Capture the Dark that runs throughout the summer. Now, this is a photography contest, and it helps generate incredible photo assets for dark sky to use. And there's no better way to build appreciation for the night and to gain new followers to our social media than to post really stellar photos. But this is not just a contest to showcase the beauty of the night. It really illustrates what we risk losing as light pollution continues to grow. And then we also have Under One Sky, which is Dark Sky's annual conference, and that's held each November. It used to be held in person in Tucson, but since COVID, it has moved virtually, where it has continued to live. And it's great. It spans the course of 24 hours, and it follows a global night. And we hear from advocates and chapters and people working to protect the night around the world. So that's coming up in November. So stay tuned for more information on that event. And then one of the main ways we are driving awareness right now is through activation campaigns. Now, activation campaigns are targeted on specific and have specific objectives. We actually have launched 3 advocacy campaigns just this year. Now, you might be familiar with these activation campaigns. You may have even seen some of our content surrounding them. But one of the big activation campaigns that we kicked off this year was a campaign around the concerns of Reflect Orbital. I'm not sure if you have, I'm talking to the astronomy community, I bet many of you have heard about Reflect Orbital, but if you haven't, Reflect Orbital is a California-based startup that has submitted a proposal to the FCC to launch a new technology into space. And that technology would use in-space mirrors in low Earth orbit mounted to satellites, and they'd beam reflected sunlight back down to Earth. Now, this definitely represents a new threat to the nighttime environment, and it's one that DarkSky is very concerned about. And so we mobilized an activation campaign, and we've collected over 10,000 signatures on an open letter to Reflect Orbital and its investors, calling that they do a full environmental review before anything launches. And we've also applied that same pressure to the FCC and the proposal that Reflect Orbital submitted. We led a campaign to encourage people to submit a public comment. So the public comment period for that has closed. The open letter is still open, but we plan to send that open letter with all those signatures to Reflect Orbital later this month. Similarly, another satellite proposal came from SpaceX, and their proposal requested the FCC to allow them to increase the number of satellites that they operate in low Earth orbit to 1 million. Now, this would represent an unprecedented increase. If they were to launch 1 million satellites, that would increase the number of satellites in Earth's orbit to 70 times the current amount. And so DarkSky here has concerns as well, as sky glow, increased sky brightness increases overall due to the reflection off of satellites. But what we're really looking at right now between these different proposals, and there's more proposals coming in from other organizations as well, but what we're seeing is the night sky could fundamentally change, and those decisions are happening now. And so through these campaigns, DarkSky wants to always make sure that people are aware that we are not against satellites. We understand that for today's world, we depend on satellites. We're not against satellites, and we're not against new technologies. But what we do want to see, we want to make sure that the right regulations are in place, that environmental reviews are happening, to make sure that this is all done responsibly with as little change to the night sky as possible. And not just the night sky, but the nighttime environment. Another campaign that we launched this year, which was a real fun one, was DarkSky 1. Now, DarkSky 1 is a concept car. It's not a real car. I wish it was a real car. Maybe someday it will be. But DarkSky 1 is a concept car, and that concept car was launched at the Detroit Auto Show, one of the world's largest stages for innovation in the automotive industry. Now, DarkSky 1 was specifically designed to be the first car designed specifically for the night. This campaign has really resonated well with our community because, well, let me tell you, it seems like there's a lot of growing frustration out there about vehicle headlights. Right now, vehicle headlights seem to be unchecked. They seem to be getting brighter, and they're not being designed to be smarter. And that's creating a lot of glare on the roadway for oncoming traffic, for other drivers. But light pollution, it spills, those intense beams of light, they spill into sensitive habitats far beyond the roadway. And there are global projections that estimate that traffic will increase, could potentially even double by 2050. So not only is this a problem, but this is going to be a growing problem. And so DarkSky 1 was really a conversation starter with the automotive industry to again, have them address the issue of these powerful beams of light, and to find solutions where we can increase road safety while also protecting the nighttime environment. So that was light pollution awareness. So we're running really important campaigns. We're growing our advocate network and our chapters, all with the hopes of building more awareness about light pollution and the importance of protecting the night. So now let's go into quality lighting programs. DarkSky is really known for its programs, especially one of them, the International Dark Sky Places program. I touched on earlier that it launched in 2001, with Flagstaff becoming the world's first international dark sky community. Since 2001, the program has grown rapidly. The U.S. National Park Service became good supporters and partners of the program, and now a lot of national parks are certified. That's how I first got involved with DarkSky International, was through the Park Service and helping Mesa Verde and other parks become certified. So the program has really grown quickly, and it now includes parks, communities, sanctuaries, reserves, and urban night sky places. there are now over 275 places. And let me tell you, this program continues to grow. There are 275 places currently certified or designated as international dark sky places, but there is a big backlog of places who are in the pipeline to be certified. Now, we want to make sure that we hold each site to the highest standard. And so our team works really hard to review these applications, to work with these places. And what we're doing is we're making sure that these places are not just naturally dark, but they're also doing the work to reclaim their night skies, to work with their local communities to reduce light pollution. This program is not just about preserving places that are already dark, but improving sky quality as well. We have other programs as well designed to improve sky quality in the nighttime environment. And another well-known program is the Dark Sky Approved Luminaires program. Now, this is a third-party approval that we provide of manufactured luminaires or light fixtures that meet our strict guidelines and standards. Just the other day, I was shopping at Home Depot and I came across a series of light fixtures that have our logo on it. Now, it does have the IDA, our old logo on it, and takes time for those to get updated. But I was really happy to see this in Home Depot. So our approved light fixtures, they can be found in big box stores like Home Depot and Lowe's, but you can also go to the Dark Sky website where we have a lighting exchange portal where you can view all of our certified products, or at least most of them, and find out where to purchase them. And then some of our newer programs, the International Dark Sky Places program and our Luminaires program, they've been running for quite some time now with great success, but we are also adding new programs to our organization. The Dark Sky Approved Outdoor Sports Lighting is one of them, and this has been a really, really great program. So the Dark Sky Approved Outdoor Sports Lighting program was designed specifically for large projects in terms of sports lighting, stadium lighting, public schools, parks. What we found is that, say a new school is getting built or a community is building a sports complex, the community at large is supportive of these builds, but often the direct neighbors are not happy about them, and that's because of the lighting. Sports lighting, bad sports lighting especially, can be atrocious. It's incredible, though, with new LED technology and proper and well-done installation, how much light spill can be reduced. This is a great picture. This lighting was done by a company called Musco. And when you go out to these projects, the field is illuminated perfectly for playability. But as soon as you step off that field, the light cutoff is incredible. Now, this program has made a lot of neighbors very happy, and this is a very quickly growing program. So if you have sports facilities or parks in your area or your neighborhood, look into this program. They do new builds, but they also do approved retrofits and upgrades as well. So this has been a really great program for our organization. We also have the Dark Sky Approved Lodging Program, which launched a couple of years ago. That is for the hospitality industry. And then we also are venturing into industrial projects. We have the Dark Sky Approved Oil and Gas Program, as well as the Port and Marine Terminal Program. And these have been really important programs as well. I want to show you this before and after picture of an oil field out in New Mexico. What's making this program really important is, well, when you look at a light pollution map, you'd expect that the most light polluted areas would be cities, and that's often what you find. You know, the more urban an area, often the more light pollution. There's just more infrastructure, there's more lighting, there's more bad lighting. But when you take a closer look at the map, often you find places that might surprise you. You might look down at southern New Mexico, where there's not the population's not very big, but it represents one of the biggest light polluted areas on that map. And that's largely because of industrial lighting. And this industrial lighting is going to be in environments that are near national parks that have incredibly sensitive wildlife and important wildlife habitats. And so we created this program in order to reduce light pollution of those facilities while maintaining the best safety standards. And this program is really proven to work. It has really drastically reduced light pollution around the areas where we've had these test projects. So those are some of our lighting programs, but let's go into lighting policy and codes, because when it comes down to it, the more cities and urban areas that adopt lighting policy and codes, the better off we'll be at fighting light pollution. So we had the model lighting ordinance that was created in 2001, but the program needed a lot of updates. And just about a year and a half ago, we put out a new program with really well-defined guidelines and a really helpful set of templates. And we've actually just recently updated them once again. We keep them updated as things change. But these templates are really great, and they're allowing our community of chapters and advocates to get involved. It's allowing them to take these templates directly to their city and city planners. And while it does take some effort, that effort definitely is reduced. We've done the hard work by creating the ordinances, and they just need to be adapted for individual locations. And so we're hoping that we see more dark sky communities, and we're going to be creating a dark sky recognized program to recognize communities who adopt these ordinances. So we're really excited for the revamped program, and we think it's going to have a lot of great success. So I want to talk about how these three focuses all integrate for maximum impact. Because we want to make sure that if anyone, say an advocate enters at any level, they're building awareness about light pollution, we want to make sure that they have the resources to go outside of awareness and turn that awareness into action that actually reduces light pollution. So I want to tell a quick story. It's come up recently. I'm building this story around a new sports lighting complex, but let's back up. So I want to talk about the North Rhine-Westphalia in Germany. Now, this location had a community of advocates back in 2010 who wanted to create a dark sky park. There was actually going to be a new international, there was going to be a new German national park, or their equivalent of, in their area, and they wanted to make it special. And so this community of amateur astronomers and environmentalists, they were seeing all these international dark sky places pop up in the United States, and they wanted their location, this new park called Eiffel Park, to become a dark sky reserve. And so they went out and they contacted the dark sky community, and they were successful. The Eiffel Dark Sky Park was officially certified, I believe, in 2014. Now, their advocacy efforts to create this dark sky park, it grew. And it was really embraced by the communities around them, who began to really develop a sense of pride in their night skies, and their really clear night skies for being in Central Europe. And that actually turned into a greater dark sky zone, with lighting policies being developed for surrounding communities. Now, it was these policies, these codes that were in place, that then led to the building of, well, there was going to be a new sports complex being built for soccer. And those codes stipulated that they needed to try to work, they needed to try to create their lighting in a way that was dark sky friendly. And so it pushed them into the dark sky outdoor sports lighting program. And that actually became the very first certified outdoor sports lighting project in Europe. And that's just being announced this week. And we're really hoping that this program continues to grow in Europe. And already it is. This soccer field that has dark sky friendly lighting, it's getting a lot of great media attention, and it's building more advocates in Europe. This is exactly what we want. We want advocates to start on a journey and to do something that feels tangible. And for this group of advocates, it was getting a small national park certified as an official dark sky park. That led to increased awareness in their community and for people to start prioritizing the night sky as new codes and statutes were developed. And then that fed into more programs and more advocacy efforts. Again, this is our goal here in DarkSky International. We don't want anything to live in a silo. We want to make sure that we take awareness and we provide very clear and specific avenues to action. So all of our programs, they provide these avenues with the hope of these codes and statutes being developed so it feeds back into more dark sky programs and more advocacy efforts. So in a nutshell, that's kind of the overview of where dark sky is at currently and how we're positioning our main focuses to drive as much impact as possible. I hope that in this presentation, you saw something new, whether it was one of our dark sky programs, because we hope that you know what's available and you know what resources we have, so you can continue to advocate in your community and turn awareness that that's being generated from International Dark Sky Week or Global Astronomy Month and put that into a pipeline of action so we can effectively reduce light pollution. So I know a lot of you probably are already part of or have heard of our organization. Maybe you're already a part of it, but if you're not, some of the best ways to get involved is just joining Dark Sky's newsletter. We have a monthly newsletter where we provide updates on our programs. That's a great way to find out all of the resources that we offer. And if you haven't subscribed to Nightscape, Dark Sky's quarterly magazine, I could not recommend that more. It's an excellent award-winning magazine with incredible stories that inspire and great resources to turn awareness into action. So I want to thank everyone. Thanks everyone for coming with me on this presentation. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Great stuff. Great stuff, Drew.
Thanks.
That's fantastic. So, I wanted to ask. I mean, like, I'll shoot out something. There's like so much stuff in that presentation that was
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of, like, there is just so many pillars of advocacy work that you're creating space for. Um, the sports thing was something that
Yeah.
really caught my eye because that's like, I think everyone who lives, in typical suburbia, around large cosmopolitan areas, there's filled with all these arenas, these sports arenas, outdoor arenas, and I can see that there's dome of light, I mean,
Yeah.
and everything. When these special lighting conditions are created, Drew, are they like, what effect? You're saying that there's a significant drop off on the
Yeah.
sides that you can see. Is that like how far does the effect go? That darkness
Yeah.
effect, like with those
Yeah.
modified lighting?
Yeah. I wish I had the technical specs for you. And I would highly suggest maybe inviting our lighting program manager to do a lecture in the future, because he will give you all of
Yeah.
the stats about like how far it
Yes.
spills, how much spill we allow. But we have really strict standards. And I can just tell you from an observational point of view, because I've gone out to report on some of these projects and to build stories around them. And it truly is incredible. You're on the field and you are fully illuminated to the standard that you need for playability. But as soon as you step off the field, you can really actually see those direct cutoffs. And that's really due to advancements in LED technology and shielding technology through companies like Musco. Other companies are doing it as well, but most of our projects are Musco, and it's quite incredible. To see that cutoff, the lack of spill into neighboring yards, virtually no uplight into the night sky. It's really incredible. And I was recently in Sedona, Arizona, where Sedona is a dark sky community. So infrastructure being built in Sedona needs to adhere to dark sky standards. And I went out to one of those projects, and it was a retrofit project, and seeing the difference between what existed before and after, it was quite incredible, and it made the neighbors very happy.
Yeah, I mean, you said there, yeah, and you put it that they're happy. I can see that because there's the lights are just so super bright, and they
Right.
just wash over the entire area around these arenas. So this is like an amazing effort, and I love that,
Yeah.
that is taking off, I guess. So you're getting more
Yeah.
buy-in about people, taking
Yeah.
making the effort.
And one thing I really love about that program specifically, it really showcases that like Dark Sky, our mission is not to plunge the world into medieval darkness. That's not our goal,
Right,
right?
yeah.
That's
People
not our
have to
goal.
understand that, right?
People have to understand that, and I think that's kind of a misunderstanding. We are for quality lighting. We understand that we're in a world where people need to be out at night, and they need to do so with safety and comfort. But there's ways to do that that can actually increase safety and increase comfort. And when you increase safety and comfort, often it means that you're installing better lighting, and that better lighting is also better for the nighttime environment. So yeah, this program really showcases it. We're not saying you can't recreate at night. Let's just do it responsibly.
Yeah, absolutely. And also another point that was very interesting in your presentation was regarding like I'm talking about the big stuff. I mean, there's the grassroots things that people can do in the community, but it's the advocacy of related to, for instance, these very big projects of putting space mirrors into
Yeah.
space, the satellites into space, and that kind of project, how do people, you were mentioning, if maybe you can reiterate a little bit about how people can
Mm.
help about that and
Yeah.
what this could potentially mean, because it is a kind of a
Yeah.
scary thing, the prospects of having tens of thousands of satellites,
Hmm.
and then these
Yeah.
big sky projects of putting
Yeah.
space mirrors. A lot of this is not like science fiction anymore. The
Yeah.
possibilities are there because industry people, I'm not sure if they understand, but the cost of launching a lot of these
Right.
things have decreased tremendously with the reusable
Right.
rockets now available. So these kind of projects that were once just pie in the sky are not necessarily like that anymore, and the sky is in danger because
Yeah.
they could launch them.
Yeah. I said in the presentation that the future of the night sky is being decided now, and I really mean that. These proposals, we have yet to hear the decisions from the FCC, but satellite proliferation. It's not just these two companies, Reflect Orbital and SpaceX. There's others as well.
That's right.
So in terms of what people can do, the open letters are still on our website, and you can still sign them. Um, from here, where do we go? And what we need is we need to make sure that environmental reviews are mandated, and that all of these projects really are they undergo full reviews in general, and that doesn't really exist currently. The approval process for satellites, it's pretty archaic, and so we're hoping to in the near future, the Dark Sky will be launching kind of an advocacy campaign about regulation specifically, and how do we work with our in the U.S. with Congress in order to create better checks.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's pretty much of a Wild West situation when
Yeah,
it comes to these
yeah,
satellites.
yeah, and seeing some of these projections, 1 million. Who knows if they'll actually reach those numbers? But the reality is that they're applying for those numbers, and so we have to take it as a real threat. Um, Not only will we see an increase of overall sky brightness that might be seen to some as minimal, to astronomers it's not minimal, but to some it might be seen as minimal, but just even to the regular person, we are kind of looking at some of the models, and what we saw was at certain times of day and certain locations, or certain times of night, I should say. Certain times of night, there's going to be greater reflection off of satellites than others. And if there were 1 million satellites in the night sky, in some areas, the number of visible satellites could outnumber the number of visible stars. So,
That's
the
mind
future,
blowing to think about.
yeah, yeah. And again, that's if they reach these upper limits. Will we get there? I don't know. But they're being proposed, and it's something our community, when I say our community, I mean our larger community, really, really needs to be aware of.
That's it. Just thinking about it is incredible. So I mean, there there's obviously scientific, uh, side to this of what we would gain, in
Mhm.
terms of, protecting the night sky. But what about for the general person, the
Mhm.
average person out there? What are they going to gain from protecting the sky? How does that, what do they get out
Yeah,
of that? Why should they advocate? I mean, what are we in the end? Where are we going
yeah.
culturally, I guess, and the
Mhm.
aspect of this?
I think that's why it's important to try to direct the conversation to quality of life. Because you're right, right now we're on a webinar where it's people who are kind of tuned in to the conversation already. We care about the night sky because we love astronomy and whatnot. But you're right. There's a lot of people who might not care or think about how it impacts them. And so I think that's why it's important to really diversify our messaging, to make sure that we hit on things that people do care about. Because increased sky brightness, even from satellites, we've seen in studies that even small shifts in light pollution can impact moths. They can impact insects and other wildlife. What does that mean for the agricultural industry per se?
Hmm.
You can go in that avenue. When it comes to new lighting projects being developed in a neighborhood that's shining through a window, how does that impact someone's well-being if they can't sleep at night
Yeah, the
because that
circadian
light's
rhythm, right?
circadian rhythms
Yeah.
streaming through their window, right? Light pollution affects us on so many levels. And so I think it's always important to embrace various aspects of the conversation in order to reach as many people. So that's important. But then there's also, I spend so much time thinking about the existential threat of losing the night sky. Like oh man, we had all those feel good images of Artemis, and it was just
Yeah.
like, it's been a really, really fun month, right? Um,
I mean,
I just think,
just that you brought that up. Let me just
yeah,
show people. I think this image,
yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
it's just like, doesn't that say something?
Oh man, yeah, yeah. It's just good. It's been so good to see all of this. And I bring this up because talking about the existential threat, I wonder what happens when a kid is on a trampoline and looks up at the night sky, but the night sky is gone, right? Like there's no stars to be seen because it's just that glow of light pollution. I mean, that's already the case for the majority of children.
Yeah.
But
And,
what
you,
if you
and
go
people
out?
don't realize that the night sky was the original I, inspiration for people.
Oh yeah,
Ancient people.
oh yeah.
It's looking up, even today, going out camping, I mean, I've talked to so many people as their
Mm,
childhood memories of going out camping with their family and being under a beautiful starry sky, and it stays with them. And it can, and from
yeah.
some people, it can be quite
Mhm.
life-changing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I get to talk to people all the time,
Yeah.
advocates, and ask, like, when did you get involved? And it always starts, like, oh, I was under this night sky with my friend or with my dad. Like, it's also amazing how it builds such good connection with people, between people. So yeah, I wonder, in a world where there's already so much noise to cut through and misinformation, if kids or anyone are, if we're not able to look up and see the stars, will we even believe the universe around us exists? It's um yeah, I spend a lot of time thinking about that kind of larger existential question.
It's yeah, I mean, it's interesting because now, look what we just went through, this momentous event of the Artemis mission going, humans going out to the moon again, away from Earth,
Yeah.
into space. There's the science, there's everything that goes in that you would think about regarding this mission, and also as the human emotional is aspect. That's a big touch point, I think, with this mission. And if you talk to the astronauts, they said, well, they look back and they saw the Earth there at the distance, and the Earth is just sitting there in the black inkiness of space. This is our spaceship, you know, and we
Yeah,
look up at the sky. That is kind of like our window into the universe,
right.
and we're just pulling the shades.
We're sealing it off.
Yeah,
We're sealing it off, and we're
yeah,
sealing it off
yeah,
quickly. And that's a
yeah,
with International Dark Sky Week. We always promote Globe at Night, which is a citizen science project to track light
absolutely.
pollution. Want to give that a plug? I love Globe at Night.
Yes.
Anyone, anywhere, all you need is a smartphone. Step outside. We don't want you to be in a dark sky area. We want you to be exactly where you're located to give us that data point. And you look up and you count the number of stars you can see in a given constellation that we direct you to. So globeatnight.org, go there, help us track light pollution, because that citizen science project is what led us to understand that light pollution is growing globally by 9.6% 9.6% globally annually,
Wow.
which is very alarming. But
Yeah.
also, our organization, our community at large is bigger than ever before. We have more programs than ever before. So I am optimistic that we can turn the tide on light pollution if we can even just slow down that growth. That is what we're after. If we
Yeah.
can just slow down that growth, we will be in much better shape.
Absolutely. Well said, Drew. Uh, and you guys are doing you're at the front lines. Your volunteers, your advocates, your team, I know at DarkSky International are working very hard and raising the awareness and trying to make a big dent in this. And you guys are very successful at it with all your programs and growing in around the world in the pickup of it. It's incredible. So thank you very much, Drew, for
Thank you.
enlightening us today and sharing all the new efforts that Dark Sky is involved in around the world. You guys have been a great partner for Astronomers Without Borders over the years, and I think we both believe in that one people, one sky. It's just our motto here. It's like
Yeah.
it is our heritage, our shared heritage. No matter where you are, what country you're in, it's something that affects us
Yeah.
all.
All
So
right. Thank you so much. And just to leave on one final note, for International Dark Sky Week, the best thing we can do is just to get outside and know the night a little better. So I suggest that everyone just step outside, dim your lights, enjoy the nocturnal habitat, and just learn about what's out there and what needs protecting.
absolutely, and I'm sure people are going to get inspired. And where do they go to get more information? If
You can go to darksky.org, but our event website is idsw.darksky.org, and you'll find a whole list of International Dark Sky Week activities to participate in, map of global events, and so much more.
Awesome. I'm going to put that down and it'll be in the comments for
Perfect.
people. And I'll make sure I'll have the other link as well after the show. So people just stay tuned. This is fantastic, Drew. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Anytime. Maybe see you again next year.
Absolutely. Thanks, Drew.
Bye.
Bye bye. So that was fantastic. What a great presentation. I hope you guys learned something. I know I did. Dark Sky International is involved in so many efforts around the world. It's wonderful to see. And I've put the link into their organization, darksky.org, O-R-G. Please do check them out and become an advocate. And let's fight for the night sky. Now, here at Astronomers Without Borders, if you like have many more activities throughout Global Astronomy Month. Our next online event is a live stream called Best of the Messier Marathon. Hopefully, we get clear skies. If we don't, we'll have a backup date. But right now, we're looking at April 18th, this coming up Saturday at 1800 UTC. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll hopefully have some really nice live views using smart telescopes of some amazing deep sky objects. So you don't want to miss that. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. It was wonderful. Great time to have everyone together. As we always like to say, one people, one sky. Until the next video, I'm Andrew Fizakis, your host here for GAM. Bye-bye.
从蓝色的小点到远方的恒星，我们是同一群人，拥有同一片天空。A highlight is Pluto, a star with two little peaks named Egypt and lyrics of the इस हल्के नीले नुक्ते से दूर सितारों तक हम एक है, एक कौन, एक आसमान।
From the pale blue dot to the distant stars, we are one. One people, one sky.